Okay, what picture do we have here on the screen?
The Last Supper.
I said first.
Okay.
And like Jesus told Judas, like, or something like that.
I'm not going there. So just chill. Okay. This is the infamous painting, the Last Supper. Okay, so picture this. You guys need to picture this. If you need to sit there and you need to close your eyes to picture this, but picture this. Okay. This is the Last Supper. Okay. This is Jesus is getting ready to do the Passover meal with his disciples. Okay. He is about to do something that has never been done before. Okay, he's about to do something that is going to completely shock everyone in the room. Okay, and not just he's about to tell what's going to happen. Okay, Jesus is about to do something that nobody's ever done before, and that really struck disciples and hit them below the belt. Okay. Okay. If you had your note sheets in front of you, you would know exactly what I'm talking about here.
It's when he washes the disciples'
We were talking
feet.
about it last week.
All right, he's washing the disciples' feet. Okay, we didn't talk about washing disciples. We didn't talk about washing one another's feet last week. Okay, but here's the thing. I want you guys to think about this because this is usually overlooked in this story. Okay, in Bible times, in this room that they were at, immediately as you walk in the room, there would have been a big bowl of water, okay, a basin of water, and there would have been some towels, okay, immediately as you walk in every room, that's how it would have been, okay, and all 12 of the disciples walked into the exact same room, saw the exact same bowl and towels, and walked right past it, and said, inside their brain, they're going, I wonder which servant is going to come and wash my feet. Okay, I wonder who the lowly person in the house is that's going to come and do this job, because it was a job reserved for servants. Okay, we talk about it all the time because this is something that's really important. But we're going to look at a very popular story in just a little different twist. Okay, because we are told in John 13:14 that we're supposed to wash one another's feet. Right after Jesus did this to his disciples. Okay, he says, hey, as I've done this to you, you need to do this to each other. Okay, but Jesus isn't saying that I physically want you to wash one another's feet. Okay, he's saying something different, and that's what we're going to look at tonight. That's how he wants us to look at each other. So we're going to talk about that tonight, why this is really important. Okay, but picture this again, we're at the Last Supper, and Jesus knows what's going to happen. He knows Judas is about to betray him. He knows he's going to be arrested and put on trial and killed in the next 24 hours. He knows this is going to happen. Okay? But he tells his disciples to meet him upstairs in this room, and they're going to have this Passover meal together. Okay? But again, all 12 of the disciples and Jesus walk into this room, and every single person walks right past the feet washing basin of water, thinking somebody else is going to do that. Somebody who's not as important as me is going to come in and pick up this bucket of water, and they're going to wash my feet. Did you catch that? That's what the disciples are saying. Somebody not as important as me. One of the biggest problems, probably the biggest problem that the disciples had, was that the disciples continually argued and fought and asked Jesus, hey, Jesus, who's going to sit at your right hand in glory? Meaning, who's going to be the most important one of us? Okay? Even there, a couple of them got their mom to go to Jesus and said, hey, do me this one favor, please. Let one of my sons sit at your right hand, one of my sons sit at your left hand. Saying, I want my sons to be in this seat of importance. I want them to be recognized above everybody else. Disciples argued more than one time that we see in Scripture about who is more important to Jesus, who is more important amongst the disciples, who has more power, who has more specialty, who has more this, who has more that, who is Jesus' favorite, who's going to have the seat at his right hand, because the seat at the right hand is the seat of power, the seat of importance. Okay? They were very prideful. Even coming from where most of them came from, lowly positions, they began to get prideful. And Jesus recognized this, and Jesus says, hey, you know what? I've got one more shot with these guys. I've got one more shot to teach them what true love and humility is like. So what do? I take on the role of a servant with my servants, okay? With my disciples, who I am greater than they are, who I am obviously their teacher. They submit to me, but here I'm going to lower myself, to put myself under them, to lift them up, to show them what humility really is like, right? So they walk in, and they all walk right past. You can see it right here. See, here's the basin of water. There's some towels. Okay, they walk right past it, and they go sit down and carry on their conversations. Again, thinking probably amongst themselves, which one of us really is the most important disciple? Instead of thinking, hey man, how can we just really become more like Christ? It's like, I'm more important than that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. I've done more miracles than that one has, and I've spent more time with Jesus than that one has. Okay, they're comparing themselves to other people instead of trying to compare themselves to Jesus. So Jesus had to set them straight and get rid of the pride in the situation. So Jesus sits down and he washes their feet. Right? And this is supposedly Peter here. And remember, all the disciples just kind of sat there in shock, but let Jesus do what he wanted to do to them and wash their feet. And then when it gets to Peter, Peter says, "No, Jesus, you should never wash my feet." And Jesus says to him, "If I don't wash you, then you have no part of me." So Peter immediately goes, "Okay, well, guys, Jesus, not just my feet, but wash my hands and wash my head, wash all of me, so I can be included with you." Right? He realizes the importance at that moment of being washed fully in Jesus. And so we have this whole story take place. So usually when we talk about the Last Supper, we talk about the Last Supper. Jesus took the bread and he broke it, and he took the wine and he gave it, saying, "This is my body, this is my blood. Do this in remembrance of me." That's an extremely important part of this story. But another part of the story is the washing of feet that kind of tends to get looked over many times. When we talk about, Jesus washed the disciples' feet, but why? Why did he wash his feet? And why did he say in John 13:14, wash each other's feet?
To prove a point.
Okay. To prove a point. Exactly. That's what we're going to talk about real quick tonight. So in John 13:14, he says, you are to wash one another's feet. That's on your sheet there. Okay. The verse itself actually says this: "Since I, your Lord, your teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I've given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you." Well, the problem is too many people think of this as a literal. Hey, we're supposed to wash each other's feet. Okay, and there's a big tradition in a lot of churches and a lot of Christ-following religions where they have a foot washing service pretty regularly. And the whole church comes together and they just, this person, like I would wash Colby's feet, and Colby would wash Cash, and Cash would wash Michael, and Michael would wash Cassie, and Cassie would wash mine. It would just kind of go around, and everybody would wash somebody's feet. Okay? But the problem with that is it becomes a ritual. It becomes hey, you know what? This is just something that I'm supposed to do. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I'm supposed to. And it becomes cold. It becomes just, the heart's not there. The desire's not there to do it to please God. It's there to do it because it's just what we're supposed to do. Right? And so Jesus had to set the example here for them. And there's a little bit more than just washing feet. Like Kobe said, the lesson that we're supposed to learn, the example we're supposed to get from this. So I'm going to get through that really, really fast here. Okay? What Jesus was saying is he was washing the feet. He says, we too, you and me, we should be ready to perform the lowliest service in the spirit and the attitude of Jesus. The lowliest service. Guys, we're supposed to be all about serving. Okay? As Christians, we're supposed to serve others. And that starts with our family and with our church. But then also our community and the world around us. We're supposed to serve. Right? And there should never be something we go, you know what, that's just too low for me. Somebody else who's not as important to me, or somebody else who's younger than me, or somebody else who is maybe been in church longer than me should really be doing that. If there's a need that needs to be done, a service that needs to be met, the church is just supposed to rise up and do it. I love that movie, Robots. It's a silly, goofy movie, but the premise of that movie, the main theme of that movie, you guys don't even know what Robots is.
I do.
Old cartoon movie, right? But the oh god, what's the really fat robot's name who had owned the company? Can't remember his name, but his motto was see a need, fill a need.
That's where I learned the armpit part.
Okay, all right, from that movie.
No, literally,
okay,
yeah.
So, I mean, guys, that's it. Okay, that's the Christian lifestyle summed up pretty quickly, pretty easily. See a need, fill a need. But too many times we're so focused on me, on what I want, we don't miss. We completely miss the needs around us of other people, right? But we should never say, you know what, that's just beneath me. There's a lot. Unfortunately, that happens in the church a lot. You can walk around the church and you'll see, well, hey, there's cobwebs in that corner, man. Somebody should really work on that. Or that floor is kind of dirty. Somebody should really clean that.
Yeah, the one.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But unfortunately, too many times in the church, but all throughout the world, people be like, man, somebody should do something about that. And I have the feeling that if something like that is noticed by you, I think more times than not, that's God's way of showing to me and to you, hey, if you see something that needs to be done, God's saying, hey, I want you to do that. So next time you have the tendency to say, somebody else should really do that, somebody else should take care of that, somebody should clean that, somebody should pick that up, somebody should do something about that, maybe that's God saying, hey, I need you to serve your school, serve your family, serve your church, serve your community, and I want you to do it. Right? So we should stop thinking of us being too important to where we can't serve the people around us. We should be ready to serve. Right? Second thing we learn from this, Christ is not interested in an external deeds, right, to draw attention to ourselves. But what he really wants is a spirit of true humility, which expresses itself in deeds of love. Getting back to the foot washing service, right, there's a major denomination. Again, they do this 3 or 4 times a year. And the whole church comes together and they just wash each other's feet. But it's not meant to be an act of love. It's just meant to be, hey, Jesus did this and he says you're supposed to do this, so we're going to do it. But it's like, yeah, they're completely missing the whole point of this. Jesus doesn't really want us to wash each other's feet. He just wants us to humble ourselves and look at other people and say, okay, what do I have maybe that they need? Or how can I serve them to help them get through a tough situation, right? It's not to draw attention to ourselves, but it is to express our love for Jesus and doing good things for other people, all right? That's what we're trying. So how do we do that? Okay, how do we really do that? There's 4 things that we do, 3, 4, 5, 6 in your note sheet here. You and I, how do we put this into practice? Okay, number 1, I no longer fight for my own position and honor. Now, you spell it. See, that's honor spelled a little different. It's got a U in there. Okay, you should look up the difference between honor, H-O-N-O-R, and honor, H-O-N-O-U-R. There's a little bit more to it than that. Okay, but we're not supposed to fight for our own position and our own honor. We're just supposed to serve people. We're supposed to love God and love people. Okay? And we do that by serving them. Okay, we do that by saying, you know what? Yeah, maybe I could win that game. But you know what? I'm going to let them because maybe they're going through something tough and they need a small victory in their life right now. Okay? I'm sure that's what Cassie was thinking. That's why she let you guys win.
Yeah,
she was trying to be humble and she was trying to be a servant.
She's not lying. You said after she drafted it.
Okay? So anyway.
I did 2. I won.
Alright. Anyway, I was just joking there. Alright, but anyway.
Oh! God, I felt that. That hurt. Yeah, I feel like every day we mention the elevator.
Alright, but anyway, so we don't fight for it. We don't say, you know what, I gotta win, I gotta be right, I gotta have my way.
On my way.
Okay? That's not the way to go through life. That's not what Jesus did. Alright, he said God's way, okay? Not my way, God's way. And so the next thing we need to do, okay, we need to be prepared to be the least. Okay, Jesus prepared himself. He got up in the middle of this meal and he went and he put the robe, the towel around his waist. Okay, and he stooped down to wash the disciples' feet. They're nasty, stinky, smelly, disgusting, dirt, dust covered, sweaty feet. He washed them with his own hands, dried them with a towel wrapped around his waist. He submitted himself to the least, to the job that was reserved for the least of the least. He said, I'm going to take it on because you know what? This is how I can serve my brothers right now. This is something that needs to be done, And I can do it, so I'm going to. Okay? And then, number 3, I've got to want to serve in love. Okay? That's tricky. That's hard. We can say all day long, yes, I love God, I love Jesus, I love the church, I want to do my part. But to want to serve people is hard because we don't like to serve. We want to be the one being served. We don't want to be the one feeding other people. We want to be fed. It's hard to switch that role. That's something where it takes prayer, it takes getting into God's word, and it takes a lot of prayer. God, teach me what it really means to want to serve. God, put that desire in me to want to serve other people, but to do it in love. Not to do it to be recognized, to be seen, but do it behind the scenes so nobody sees it, except for maybe the person that you're helping. So, do it in love, right? Not to be seen, but to do it in love. And the last thing, okay, I've got to count others better than myself. We've got to look at people around us and go, okay, I've got all I need because you do. You've got all that you need. Instead of going, okay, what do I want? It should be, hey, what do people around me need? Right? Do I have a classmate who's struggling? Do I have a classmate who doesn't bring their lunch? Does he get to buy lunch because their family doesn't have any food? Doesn't have any money? Can I bring something for them? Can I buy them lunch one day? Can I bring them? Can I bring them a backpack with some supplies, things like that in it? Your neighborhood, there's got to be something around you. Walk around. Hey, there's trash gone. You know what? Let's just pick it up. Is there something that I can do for you that will make your work week a little easier? Is there something that I can do when I'm here on a Wednesday, or something I can do when I'm here on a Sunday that I can do that really is mundane and it's not hard, but it just takes up your time? Right? Ask your teachers that. Ask your parents that. I'm sure there's all kinds of things your parents would say, hey, if you would just do this for me, it may only take 5-10 minutes for you. Okay? But it would really, really, really help them out a whole lot. That's humbling yourself to serve others. That's what Jesus did here as he washed feet. And when he said wash one another's feet, that's exactly what he's talking about. Serving other people in love. Finding something that you can do that just helps somebody out. Doesn't have to be big, huge. Washing somebody's feet is not something difficult. It doesn't take a degree to wash feet. It was very simple. Jesus did it. The teacher, the rabbi, the leader became the servant. That's his example he set for us. That's what he wants us to do. So that's what he means when he says wash one another's feet and serve other people in love. And the attitude of Jesus. The attitude of Jesus, not to be seen, not to make a spectacle of yourself, but do it behind the closed doors, in quiet, where nobody's looking, and the other person knows about it is you and the other person that you're helping.
What does spectacle mean? I'm not
You don't want so you're not drawing attention to yourself. Okay? You're not supposed to want to be seen.
So Cash is not good at it.
So yeah.
I know.
So it's just like when Jesus told the story of the tax collector and the Pharisee standing at the wall praying, and the tax collector is knelt down on his knees in quiet, crying, whereas the Pharisee, the church leader, is standing there talking really, really loud. And, oh God, thank you that I'm not like this lowly tax collector. Okay, he was drawing attention to himself. And Jesus says that Pharisee walked away from there worse off than before. The tax collector walked away justified and righteous with God because he humbled himself and he was honest with God. He did not draw attention to himself. Okay, we're supposed to love and serve other people and not want recognition for it, not want notoriety, not want to be given props and honors for it. We're just supposed to want to serve. We're just supposed to want to love people. Right? That's what he's saying. We say, wash one another's feet. Love. Love. Love God. Love people. We love God by loving people. We love God by serving him and serving other people. Okay? That's what he means to wash one another's feet. All right? So let's pray. We'll get out of here.